So today we are going to start from scratch on the Pong game, and we're going to start by making a new project, and we're going to save this as Pong game, and then we're going to delete the cat. So first of all, we are going to create our ball. We can either import from library, and we can find a ball that's already available to us in the library, and that will save us some time. And then we'll also create a sprite that is going to function as the paddle. So if I choose one of these tools, and I will set my paddle like this. And I will name my paddle by coming over here and clicking on the I and typing the word paddle. And I'll name my ball is already named. Okay, so I've got my paddle and I have my ball. Now my paddle is a little large, and so if I want to reduce the size of that, I can come up here to the shrink tool and I can tap on the paddle to shrink it down. Now the next thing we'll do is we'll get a backdrop. So on the stage, if we highlight the stage, and we can choose backdrop from library, and we'll go down here and try to find something that looks like a game. So we'll choose the neon tunnel, and we'll start to begin our scripts for the ball. So the first thing we're going to do is when the green flag is clicked, we want the ball to go to a certain location. So we'll start the ball at a spot up here so it will fall. And when you go to the motion section, you'll see that your XY coordinates will automatically change based on where you drop your ball. So if I want to start it here, my XY coordinate is always already in the correct position. Now I'm going to point it in a certain direction. So I'm going to do point in direction, and I'm going to choose by typing in 45 degrees. So I could literally type in this box. And then I'm going to set up a forever loop where we do a couple of things. If we go back to motion, if on edge of the canvas over here, if the ball is there, it's going to bounce, and then we will let it move a certain number of steps. So then we're going to move, and we'll do 15 to start. If we want it to go faster, we could do more steps. Okay, so that seems to be working well. Hit stop to make that stop. Okay, so now we have to make it interact with the paddle. So again, when the green flag is clicked, we're going to set up a forever loop, and we need an if statement, an if-then statement. So we're going to put our if-then, we're going to nest it inside of our forever loop. So now we need something equals something. Okay, so we need to find, if touching, excuse me. So if it's touching the paddle, so if touching. So if touching what? The paddle. Because we named that sprite the paddle, we're going to call it paddle here in this section. So if it's touching the paddle, we want it to make a cool sound effect. So for now, we're just going to leave play sound pop. And then back to motion, we're going to want to turn it in a certain number of degrees. So now, if I choose this same degrees every time, it's not going to be random enough. So in order to make it more random, I'm going to choose the pick random. And I'm going to drop this green bar into the 15 circle so that it will record that. And I'm going to change my numbers from 160 to 200. And then, of course, I want to move again. So I'm going to move a certain number of steps. So if it touches the paddle, I'm going to do a little tester over here. And it touched the paddle, it turned, it bounced away. Okay, wonderful. So that test worked. Okay. Lastly is we want to decide under what circumstances do we die. And that's when we touch a certain color. And we haven't set that up yet. We could modify the color on the stage. So if I go to the stage and I choose the backdrop here, and I can draw a bar. I'm going to convert to bitmap. I'm going to draw a colored bar at the bottom of my stage. So in this case, I'll do this neon green. Oop. So that if the ball touches this color, then we'll die. So I'm going to save that, go back to my scripts. So now I have this green color here. So now if the ball drops below the paddle and touches the green, I'm going to die. So to make that script, I need, when the green flag is clicked, I need a forever loop and another if-then statement. So forever, I'm checking it forever. It says if what? If I'm touching that color. So if I'm touching this, I want the green color. So to make that happen, I can grab inside of here and touch this green color with this little hand. And that will turn this the color that I'm choosing. So if touching this green color, then what am I going to do? I'm going to stop all. So I'm going to stop the game altogether. So that way it will sense if I'm touching the screen. Now I'm going to come back over to the paddle because the paddle needs to be able to move in a direction along the x-axis. So for the paddle, I'm going to set when the green flag is clicked, and I'm going to use a forever loop because you always want to check, and I want my X to be set to whatever my mouse does. So I'm going to use my sensing of mouse X direction. So this is setting my x-axis to whatever my X is on my mouse so that it will follow that along. So now if I start it, and you'll see that my paddle moves in the correct direction.